Okay. Great and glorious. Soon to be famous one day. Nick Dash back again one more time. Of course, basic self-promotion. There's a book available on Lulu called The Grimoire and the Herbal. Lots of lovely text in there by Nick Dutch. Have a look on lulu.com. You might want to have a look seriously. Well, or you might not. It's up to you. Don't really give a shite either way. It's your choice. But the information's out there. And, you might as well get it. I just say that for now. Anyway, cool stories. Let me tell you about what happened in Asheville last month when the universe decided to write a parable that would make both the angels and the old gods hold their breath. There's this woman called Rebecca, although she was born Stephen. Her father, Pastor Marcus, spent 20 years preaching against gender ideology from the same pulpit where she had once dedicated her as his beloved son. The congregation would sway about and shout Amen while he condemned the very thing his child was becoming. But here's where the story cracks open like a geode, revealing something crystalline and impossible inside. Rebecca didn't leave the church when she transitioned. She started showing up early on Sundays to arrange the flowers. Not the altar flowers, but the wild ones. Black-eyed Susans and Queen Anne's lace that she'd foraged from the highway meridian, the highway areas where no one thought beauty could grow. Interesting message there, all right? So there's beauty in these desolate places, and she's highlighted where the beauty is. There's beauty in places where you don't think it's there. She'd then leave them in mason jars with notes written in her father's own preaching cadence. Behold, I make all things new, and the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Never signed, just present, placed there, like grace showing up as roadside weeds. Pastor Margus would find them and feel something shift in his chest. The same chest that had tightened with rage when his child came out and transitioned. But these flowers, they were the exact shade of yellow that Stephen's favourite childhood sweater had been. The same white lace pattern that had decorated Rebecca's baptism gown when she was still his son. 6 months of this. 6 months of flowers appearing like prophecies until one Sunday Rebecca didn't just leave them and disappear. She stayed. Sat in the back pew wearing a simple blue dress. Her hands folded exactly like they'd been taught in Sunday school. The congregation went rigid. You could feel it. The collective inhale before the storm. Pastor Marcus saw her from the pulpit. And for the first time in his ministry, words failed him. Just stopped mid-sentence. The sanctuary held its breath. Then Rebecca stood up, not defiant, not angry, just present. She walked down the aisle like she was walking through water, each step a baptism. When she reached the font, she didn't speak. She just took her father's hands, those hands that had held her as a baby, that had baptized her, that had written sermons against her very existence, and she placed them upon her heart. I've never stopped being your child, she whispered. I just stopped being your son. The congregation watched the pastor crumble, not in shame, but in recognition. He pulls her close, and they stood there, father and daughter, pastor and parishioner, two people who had been praying to the same God from different sides of the wall that had never really existed. But here's the part that can really get to you. 3 weeks later, Pastor Margus preached his final sermon. Not because he was forced out, although the half the congregation left when he announced what he was about to do. He stood at that same pulpit and said, "My daughter has taught me that resurrection isn't just something that happened to Jesus. It's something that happens to all of us when we choose love over fear. When we choose to see the divine image in every person, especially the ones we were taught to fear." The church that remained became
something new, neither fully Christian nor fully pagan, but something that bloomed in the space between. They kept the cross, but added Rebecca's wild flowers. They served communion, but blessed it with moon water. They studied both Corinthians and the Charge of the Goddess, discovering how they were reading the same love letter in different languages. So the end of this story says, love wins, Nick. Not the sentimental kind, the fierce, stubborn love that refuses to let go, the love that plants flowers in highway meridians and sits in backs of pews and washes feet with sacred herbs. The love that says, I see you, when the world says you don't exist. That's how culture wars end. One flower, one foot washing, one cracked open heart at a time. Now, I don't know about you, but I found that story very healing for me, actually, in lots of different ways. And it's got a certain just getting through to someone over such a long period of time just to bring about a certain level of understanding. Oh, God. Anyway, thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down twice if you hate it. Go and buy my book on lulu.com, The Grimware and the Herbal by Nick Dutch, and I'll speak to you again in the next delightful video. Peace, love and harmony to one and all, whether you do it that way or whether you do it with that way. I don't care, and neither should you. Neither should you. Just stop it. Let's try and learn what goodness is. I mean, essentially the more beneficial aspects of the golden rule in Christianity is the same as the beneficial aspects of the golden rule in paganism. But it's the cultural bullshit that we put up in place to give us a sense of separation from other people, which kind of like holds us up in our sense of identity, which in the end causes more problems. Okay. Peace.